Good morning, guys, and welcome back. I am actually getting ready to go to church this morning, so I just wanted to pop on and just record an intro for today because it is Sunday and I wanted to get a video up again. I do want to say thank you for all the views. I had no idea people would be this interested in this topic. But I am happy about it, and so I do plan on doing a video every week. Hopefully it'll be up on Sunday evenings, and I just wanted to pop on today and let you know that today's video is going to be an emergency fund update, as well as how I allocate my $100 for my grocery budget today. So if that's interesting, then stay tuned. So I do appreciate the comments. I feel like I've tried to respond to as many as possible, like even the negative Nellies, honey. Even the negative Nellies. But we are here for it. So yeah, so tonight, hopefully when I get home, because I have church and then I have a baby shower to go to, and then I'm going to do grocery shopping, and then I'll come home. I still have to cook because I have to cook for tonight's dinner as well as my kind of meal prep for my lunches all week at work. And so I just want to show you how I figured out that process, and I've pulled some ideas from a couple of friends of mine of how they meal plan. And it's interesting because as just a single person, I didn't think that I had to really meal prep. I'm like, well, if I have a budget for food, then I can just kind of do whatever I want during the week. But I always found myself like scraping coins, trying to figure out how I'm gonna buy some ramen noodles to get me through to my next paycheck, So I did a little bit of a different strategy this time, and so I'm gonna show you that later, and show you, I can show you the groceries, but I'll have the receipt to let you know how much money I have left. I did shop on Friday. I did have a list. I did shop on Friday because my food menu started Friday, and it'll go through till my next paycheck, and I'll be able to show you all that. But it took a minute to try to figure out. It was not easy because I never really had to think that far ahead, or I never challenged myself to think that far ahead. Just for me, I just felt like, oh, I have money for groceries, so I will, go through the drive-through, I'll do whatever. But I always ended up running out of food money, and then would be dipping into other money sources or other places where I've attempted to allocate money. And so we're not going to do that. And I did have to update my budget to account for some things. I still have two things that aren't in my budget, and I'm trying to figure out where to put it. So I have I take medications every month for asthma, and for some reason I just didn't think to put it on the budget, and I can do that breakdown. And then as well as I have a what do you call it, a Beachbody membership, and that's where you have access to workout videos at home that I actually use. So it's not it's not how sometimes you can have a gym membership and you never go. It's not like that. I actually use this membership, and it's actually aside from going to Planet Fitness, I'll explain that later, why I decided to go this route. But happy Sunday, and I will see you guys later. Hey guys, I am back from my day. I am back. It's almost 6:30 in the evening, but I've had a productive day. We had church, and then I think earlier I said I was going to a baby shower. It's a wedding shower. It was a wedding shower, not a baby shower. And so that was a great time. And then I went grocery shopping, and I'm here with all the details of that, okay? I am hot, so I'm going to be drinking my ice water because it is 80 degrees outside, 80 degrees. Probably close to that inside. The air is not on. It's not time yet. But anyhow, the first thing I wanted to update you on was my emergency fund. So the day after I recorded the video last week, the day after I uploaded the video last week, I was scrolling on YouTube and I came across a Dave Ramsey clip. And in my last video, I talked about how I was thinking about saving $2,000 in my emergency fund because, you know, he wrote the book Total Money Makeover like 20 years ago, right? So he wrote it 20 years ago. And so we're thinking, oh, we've been through a pandemic, honey. We've been through like a housing crisis, inflation. We've been through all these things, right? So we're like, you know, just thinking about like, well, maybe we need to put a little more in our emergency fund, right? So I said I was going to save $2,000 as opposed to the $1,000 that he suggested. So anyway, when I came across this clip, the clip was like titled like, is $1,000 enough for an emergency fund for baby step number 1? And so so I was like, oh, great. This is what I was just thinking about. And so I played the clip, and it was a conference. They were hosting a conference, and this was like the Q&A portion of the conference. And so this man was at the microphone, and he asked the question. He said, in light of the fact that you wrote this book 20 years ago, do you think that $1,000 is still sufficient for an emergency fund? And Dave Ramsey was like, well, back then, 20 years ago, it wasn't enough. He was like, but the $1,000 isn't designed to be a fully funded emergency fund. It's really just to catch you if something goes wrong while you're working the Total Money Makeover. Because he said the goal is for the Total Money Makeover to be finished in 18 to 30 months. And so he said, we're not going to get that many emergencies, or like just naturally, we probably won't run into that many emergencies in that short amount of time, so like if your tire blows or if your alternator goes out, he's like, no, it's not enough for a transmission, but it's $1,000 more that you had towards that than if you were starting from nothing. He was like, so the goal of the $1,000 is like if something comes up, like if, like for example, I had my water pump unexpectedly went out last month, and that was like a $500 fix, or just different things like that. He was like, the point of the $1,000 is so that it doesn't break you when you have an emergency. Like if you have to go to urgent care, you can pay that bill. If you have to, just these things that come up that are unexpected, like that's meant to cover you in case. And so when you have the $1,000 and then you're in baby step number 2 and you're like paying down your debt, if you have an emergency and you have to spend $300, you pause, the debt snowball, and then you go back, rebuild that $1,000, and then come back to, paying off your debt. And so in light of that, I decided that I'm just going to do the $1,000. So I am just going to do $1,000. And so as of today, in my emergency fund, I have $291.84. And so a bulk of that came from the, the winter activities, like the extra work that I did for those winter activities, those extracurricular activities at work. I had paid my bills up to date. I had caught everything up to date, and that was money that I had left over. And so I decided to go ahead and move that into the emergency fund. So we are at $291.84. 84 cents. Why? Because for my savings account, if I swipe or if I use my credit card to purchase anything, so even if that's like paying bills online or whatever, if it's like if something is $50.12, whatever the rest of that is to make up $1, that money gets moved into my savings account. And that's a feature I can turn on or off. So it like rounds up to that $1, and then it rounds up to that $1 and just moves that change over into the savings. So it was just $290. So apparently $1.84 and change was moved over there from, like, 'cause some of my bills aren't like whole dollars. So like my phone bill is not whole dollars. It's like $54 and some change or something, whatever it is. It's like, it's not whole dollar amounts. Or like my car insurance is not whole dollar amounts. So it's like, it moves that change over. So that's the update on my emergency fund. So I am thinking about like ways of like what else can I do to like extra money that I can add. I am working extracurricular this semester. I'm working extracurricular or this season, so in the spring. So for the spring, I'll get a check at the end of the season. So I am working volleyball games and I'm working lacrosse games. So at the end of those seasons, the school will cut me a check. And I feel like they'll just put them together. I'm not going to get a separate one for volleyball and a separate one for lacrosse. They'll just put it together and send it to me. And so my plan for having my emergency fund to $1,000, I'm just giving myself till the end of May, because if nothing else, that check will go in there. Yeah, so I am thinking about like the money that I'm going to get, like these chunks of money that I'm going to get. Like I'll get my spring activities check, and then I'll get a check when I work summer school. We're working summer school the month of June, and I believe that's 3 weeks. So that check will be a chunk. And so, but my emergency fund, that $1,000 emergency fund should be funded by then. And so then I'll be on baby step number 2, and that'll be paying down debt. So now what I'm going to work on this week is organizing my debts from least to greatest. And a couple at my church, they are teaching Financial Peace University. So I did have some questions for them. So I was asking, like, are we just thinking about the debts that we are that are current, or should we like pull our what do you call it, the credit report to see what's on there? And so she was like, definitely pull that credit report, because a lot of my debt on my credit report are like little things. They're like $100 here, $200 there, $400 there. And I was like, but I would probably just plan to like pay those little increments off, and so there won't be a debt snowball. And she said, that's fine. It doesn't have to snowball at this point. Like if you can just, like, for example, like if I have a debt that is like $200 and something, I'll probably take a little bit out of one check, a little bit out of the other check, and then just pay that off. And she was like, that is perfectly fine. So I probably won't really snowball until those little things are paid off. And then like when I'm paid off my Capital One credit card, then whatever I was paying on that snowballs into the next thing. So if that makes any sense. But I just needed some clarity on like how to set those debts up. So I am going to go ahead, even though I'm not on baby step number 2 yet, I am going to go ahead and start compiling my debts from least to greatest. All right, let's move into the groceries. Because that's what I really wanted to talk about. Because y'all, groceries, I think I said last time that my grocery budget is the easiest one for me to get me off track, because I like to eat, and I feel like because I'm only like cooking for one or shopping for one, I didn't feel like I really needed a plan. I felt like if I put $100 in groceries, and I've been putting $100 in groceries for a long time, but it hadn't been enough because I didn't make a plan for it, you know? So I would just be like, for example, Thursday was a perfect example. Thursday night, we had a volleyball game that went long because all the teams had to play 3 games because it was a tough competition, right? And so typically what Joy would do, I would feel like I'm getting out late, all I want, and PMS, I'm like, all I want is some salty French fries from McDonald's and a medium Sprite. That's all I wanted. And typically I would have just gotten that because it don't sound like it's a lot of money. It's like $6, right? It doesn't sound like it's a lot of money, but that's where I would nickel and dime myself over budget, you know, because typically for me, when I'm coming off of a break, like spring break or winter break or something, it's hard for me to get back in like the flow of, you know, preparing my lunches and cooking and different things like that. And so I'm just going to buy lunch at work every day, which is $4.50 every day. And I'm just going to eat out every night, especially since I worked just about every evening after work last week, you know. And so typically that's what I would have done, because I'm like, I deserve it. Like, I'm just getting back, I'm PMSing, and I'm working every night overtime, right? So that's what I would have done. And I'm like, nope, I can't do that. Like, I really have to like not eat out, like, because that's one thing that's getting me over budget. And then in the past, I would go to the grocery store like 3 or 4 times a week because sorry y'all because I would be like, I don't feel like eating what I got at home. I'm gonna get something else. I'm just gonna get this. I want ice cream. I want this. I want that. And before I knew it, I was scrounging the house looking for change so I could buy me some ramen noodles because I was out of money. I was out of money, period. Not just out of my grocery money. I was just out of money, period. I would be DoorDash. Those prices are atrocious. Like, that should be illegal. Like, all the fees, all the things. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, I could buy a $13 meal and end up paying, when it's all said and done, $50. That's ridiculous. And people can afford it and people can do it, and that is great. Joy won't be doing that. I can't. Like, I can't even make logical sense of that, you know, for me. So anyhow, because, like I said, because it was just me, I didn't feel like I really needed to make a plan for how I'm spending my grocery money. But I said, no, I'm going to change things. I need to change things because I don't want to go over on my grocery budget. Because that's the one that's not a fixed cost. You know, it's not fixed. It's not like a car note or, you know, a phone bill or anything like that. It is not a fixed cost. So it's easy to just be like, oh, I can just get this or whatever. So what I decided was, and I got this idea from a friend of mine. A couple of friends of mine did this, but they're moms and they have kids. And so that's another reason why I didn't necessarily relate to the idea, because they have people to plan for, you know, which I think is different than like, oh, it's just me, so I can just do whatever. So what they would do is they would take a calendar, a blank calendar, and they would write in what they wanted to eat, like what was breakfast, lunch, and dinner for every day. Even if it was leftovers, they would say leftovers or whatever, but they would plan for the 2 weeks and then they would shop according to their menu. And I know that's not a new idea, but I feel like it's a new idea for me to use it for myself, you know? And it was the hardest thing for me to come up with, like starting this pay time until my next paycheck. It was the hardest thing for me to think 2 weeks ahead. How many days is that? 1, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So it's 15 days until I get paid again. So we get twice a month. We get paid twice a month, and it works out nicely when it's only 4 weeks. But when there's 5 weeks, it kind of gets a little different. So we get paid twice a week or twice a month. And so I'm like, okay, I have to think about what do I want to eat. And I don't really eat breakfast. So I'm never really worried about breakfast. I always just have my mug of coffee. And then if I want to like eat something, it'll be like a breakfast bar. Like I have like some Nutri-Grain bars, or I have some pretzels over there, just something that I could just eat quick. I'm not a big breakfast eater, but I do like breakfast for dinner. I'll eat breakfast at any other time of the day, except usually at breakfast time, unless I'm like on vacation or something, or it's a special occasion. Because I'm not usually super hungry in the morning. Like I don't really have a taste or, you know, a desire to eat when I wake up in the morning. So I'm not worried about breakfast, but I did need to plan my lunches for the week and then dinner for the week, right? And some of those days, and I'll show you my menu. So I came up with a menu and I've revised it I don't know how many times. So I'm like, oh, I can take spaghetti every day, or I can take lasagna every day. And I really didn't want to do pasta every day. Number one, it's a lot. And number two, it's like getting warm outside. And so pasta is just heavy. And I just didn't want to, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to want that for many days in a row. So I decided on tacos for lunches. And I usually do Friday night. I usually have a movie night, pizza night for myself, you know. So I do pizza, but I'm going to show you this. So I'll show you how I set up my calendar so that to show you like how I am planning for meals. Now this is the first time I'm doing it and like sticking with it. I am fighting against like going to the grocery store every couple days. I'm staying out of the grocery store. I'm really like, so I went grocery shopping today, and it's like, you see so many things. You'd be like, oh, that's on sale. Oh, I didn't think about putting that on. So I'm just gonna grab. Like, those are the things that get you. That's what gets you in the grocery store. So I see why people use like Instacart and stuff like that, because then you're not being enticed by like the things that you see. But I'm not paying for Instacart because I feel like I need to get it together and like have some like self-control about it. So I'm going to turn my camera around and show you my menu and like kind of explain and walk through kind of how I set it up. All right. Okay, I don't know if this is going to be super easy for y'all to see, but I made it a little bigger this week. So I just used a Google Doc and just created my own calendar because I couldn't find a blank calendar on like the under Google Docs, or I mean, you could use Google Sheets, but I didn't want that for this. I just created my own calendar in Google Docs, April 2024. So I didn't start it till here. So I kind of color coded it a little bit. So the greens are payday. So I have payday twice this month. I get paid on the 12th and the 26th. It just happened to fall on Fridays. It doesn't always work out that way. And then I have in pink, there are events that I am attending where food is going to be provided. So I don't have to meal prep for those meals. So like Saturday, which is yesterday, was the men's breakfast, and I was one of the volunteers to help cook for that. And so and then usually when we volunteer to prepare food for our church events, we usually get to eat. And so I knew that I was going to be able to eat, so I didn't have to prepare. I didn't have to think about eating. I did put down here snack in case I wanted a snack, because right after the men's breakfast, I went to my high school to work the lacrosse game. And so I was just thinking I would have a snack just in case I got hungry. But I wasn't hungry. It was just the varsity game, and so we weren't gone long. And so the snacks that I decided, I just put this in a blank space. My snacks that I was going to decide to buy this pay period were fruit and pretzels. So I bought some apples and a bag of pretzels. And so, and then the blue are like things that, like volleyball, I'm going to work late that night. Volleyball, I'm going to work late that night. I have a 5K race this week. Is that this week? That's this week. We also have prayer at church, but I paid for this, so I think I'm gonna go to that. I don't know. I might not go. I want to. The 5K race, or we have prayer at church. So either way, I have an event that is after work where I'm not gonna like be home at a normal time. So that lacrosse there, and then on the 28th, this is actually for the next pay period, lunch out with friends, but I can talk about that in my budget. And that's a budget item that I had included. So anyway, I had to think about, what do I want to eat for lunch this week coming up. So I actually got paid on Friday, and then I went shopping Friday because I didn't have these items. So on Friday, I bought pizza, and I bought a bag of salad, like a frozen pizza, and then I bought my pretzels, and then for dinner, I was going to have leftover pizza with salad, which is what I had. It's just a whole pizza. It's a Tombstone pizza. And so I got that. And then today we had a wedding shower, and I knew there was going to be food there, so I didn't have to provide lunch for myself. And I'm not hungry at all. It's almost 7 o'clock. I'm not hungry at all, but I still have to make the tacos with rice because that's what I plan on taking to lunch with me. And so if you see here, like tacos with rice, and then for dinner, I'm just going to have a PB&J with pretzels. I love a good PB&J. Here, I'm going to have some ramen noodles, PB&J with pretzels, noodles, and noodles right here with a snack, because the plan is to run a 5K. And then on Saturday, pizza with salad, burger, for dinner, and then because I like eating fun foods on the weekends, and then I'll have the leftover pizza, and then probably just have a snack on Sunday, because usually on Sundays I tend to eat later, because after church we're usually like hanging around, chit-chatting and stuff. So my snack, I could do a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or I could do an apple with pretzels. And so the next week, I'm making a quiche, because like I said, I could eat breakfast food, I just don't like it at breakfast time. So for lunch, I'm gonna take a quiche, and I bought these hash browns. Those like rectangle hash browns that you get. I can show them to you actually. I'm gonna show you these. Love it. So that's what I'm gonna eat that week for lunch. Quiche with hash browns. And then PB&J with pretzels for dinner, noodles here. And so the reason why, because one might be thinking, why have PB&J with pretzels for dinner instead of for lunch? And the reason why is because I don't eat breakfast. I'm usually super hungry at lunchtime. And so that's why my lunches look a little heavier than my dinner, because then by dinner, I'm just eating because I usually try to eat before 6 p.m. And so, and like, especially like on these days where I have to stay late after school, it's just easier for me to like be able to prepare something quickly and just go ahead and eat that, rather than like, something that I got to put together and eat with rice, and eat with a fork and stuff. I can just do something. This is just quick. And so this is payday again, but I still have planned my quiche with hash browns. So that's how many slices? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slices, which is perfect with hash browns. And then we have a women's conference that evening, and food will be there. So yeah, so that's what my menu looks like. So I'm gonna show you like how I set up my grocery list to know that I'm gonna come in under budget. Okay, so that was my menu. I hope that was okay to see. Yeah, I planned on having it printed out, but if I print it out and show it to you, it'll be backwards to you because I'm using my phone to record. My Android, honey. My paid for Android, $60. Won't he do it? So, listen, I will not be phone poor. So anyhow, on this Android, so this is going to look backwards to you guys, just so you know. So what I did was, once I made my menu, once I decided this is what I want to eat, then I had to like make my grocery list, right? So you don't just go buy tacos, you have to buy the ground beef, but I don't eat meat. So it was Impossible meat. It's Impossible meat that I'm using for the tacos as well as the burger. And so I made my list here. I made a shopping list. So it's like green apples, Dots pretzels, which is a specific expensive brand, but thankfully they were on sale. Tombstone pizza, like romaine lettuce, frozen veggies, because I buy cheese pizzas and then I buy a bag of frozen veggies that I cook up and I put on the pizza. So I have spinach and then bell peppers and onions, and I cook that up and I put on the pizza because I like to put on my pizza what I like. And then like tortillas, Impossible beef, like ground Impossible beef, yellow rice, sandwich bread, crepe jelly, noodles. I put a couple noodles, but I ended up just buying the pack of noodles that you see on the counter there. They're just like the rectangle pack. Taco seasoning. It's all on the counter because I got to make it tonight. So even though like I'm not hungry at all, so even though I'm going to make it tonight, I'm making it to make sure I can meal prep for this week. And then cooking oil, green chilies, I like to put those in there. Oh yeah, I got onions too for that, because I'm like, why am I buying 2 onions? I'm like, I'm just going to trust myself and get the 2 onions. Shredded lettuce for the tacos, Impossible burgers. I bought a 2-pack to for my burger nights. Burger buns, pie crust, a frozen pie crust for the quiche, hash browns, the square or rectangles that I showed you, sour cream, and coffee creamer. And so here what I did was when I made my grocery list, I also looked up how much things were going to cost. So I put that here, how much the grocery is going to cost, because I needed to know that I was going to come in under budget, at or under budget. So according to my calculations, I should have been at $99. Okay? I should have been at $99, and these prices are based on what's posted on the store's websites. So I did go through my list, and I'm like, what on this list can I get at Aldi? Because I'm like, that's what I need to figure out, what can I get at Aldi. So what I got at Aldi were tortilla shells, came in under budget. The noodles I ended up not getting at Aldi because I was thinking something different, and the other store didn't have it either, so I ended up just getting the pack of noodles. So I didn't get those at Aldi. Taco seasoning, cooking oil, green chilies, shredded lettuce, burger buns, hash browns, sour cream, some other things I might have been able to get at Aldi, but when I went shopping, I wasn't by Aldi. Sorry, the sun is changing, so it's going to change a little bit on me, but it's shining. So I wrote down the prices, and so most things came in at budget, and I round up to the dollar. I don't usually, so if something is $4.69, I just round it up to $5. If something is $7.99, I round it up to $8. So for example, my Dots pretzels were supposed to be $7.99, so I rounded it up to $8. But they were on sale, and so I got them for $5.69. Why Dots pretzels, guys? Because I like them. I know you can get cheaper pretzels. Snyder's has perfectly good pretzels, but I specifically wanted those pretzels, so that's why we did that. Everything came in at or under budget except the Impossible beef. Now I need to figure out where I'm going to purchase that at. So according to the website, the grocery store by me did not have any Impossible beef. And so I put down that I was going to buy it from Walmart, which would have made it was like $6.99, so I put down $7. Well, I didn't go to Walmart because I wasn't near Walmart. I went to Aldi, and then I went to Jewel, and it was like $9.99. I was like, y'all are nuts. So I came in $3 over budget, but you guys, I have $20 left over in my grocery budget. I have $20 left over. So I'm not worried about it. And the reason why I like to put the prices in, so when I go pick it out at the store, I'd be like, oh, yep, that's right. Like my yellow rice was like $1.49, and I had budgeted $2. So great. And so I like to put the price there. So I'm not, because before, when I would have a grocery budget, and I use that loosely, I would make my list and then go to the store and like hope it all fit. And so then I would be shopping and then writing down the price as I went. And then before I knew it, I had used up all the budget, but hadn't even gotten through half of the things on my list that I wanted. And so I decided I'm going to make this first. And so when I go to the store, I don't have to be trying to figure out if I have enough money to get the things that are on my list. So I picked my menu, made my grocery list, looked up the prices, and it all like worked out. I still have $20 left. And so what's interesting is that I caught myself, like if I'm at I was at Aldi and I'm like, oh, this came in way under budget. Like, ooh, so I can get this ice cream. And so that's typically what I would do, right? I would typically think, oh, that's under budget, so now I can just get this. And what I'm really trying to avoid is like impulse buying. So I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to get what's on my list. That is it. And if I sleep on it, and if I decide that I want something else, or maybe I want to add something later, then I can do that, because it is getting hot outside. So maybe I want some what are they called, those Outshine fruit bars, like those ice cream bars. I'm like, maybe I want some of those later in the week or whatever. But whatever it is, I'm just going to keep that $20, because right now I have everything I need for my menu, and so I'm not going to touch it unless there's something like, oh, I really need to get such and such, right? So no impulse shopping for me. I'm not going to do that. And so I am $20 under budget. And so I am excited about that. So if y'all got questions about that, you can ask me. Hopefully a lot of that made sense. And so so what I do is I just keep the receipts, because some things were on sale, like at I don't know. Aldi doesn't do it. Aldi doesn't do it, but I know like at Burcott's they'll tell me you saved like there was $4.84 in marked down items. So I like that. I like knowing that. I think Jewel does it too. Let me see. I saved $4 because things were marked down. That's so funny. Oh, I paid $6.99. So the price for the Impossible. Oh, so I did come in under budget. The normal price was $9.99, but I saved $3, so I only paid $6.99. I'm so excited about that. I'm so excited about that. Both of my Impossible Burger. Let me show it to you so you know what I'm talking about. So this is the Impossible beef that I'm going to use to make my tacos, and then these are the patties that I'm going to use for my burger. So I just bought 2 of these. So 2 was $6.99. The original price was $6.99. It was $5.99. So these came in under budget. I'm so excited about that. And then these were supposed to be $9.99, and they were $6.99. So I did not go over budget on any item. Y'all, won't you do it? Won't he do it, y'all? Okay. So that's my groceries from today until Friday the 26th. And then so I would make my and so I won't make that menu now, because by the end of next week I'll probably will have decided like what do I have a taste for, what do I think I want to eat, and different things like that. So that's where we are, you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, you can leave them below and I'll do my best to answer them. And so again, just thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the support, and I will see y'all next time.